This is your Barbados Today morning news update for Thursday, September 19th, 2019. Thanks for joining us. I'm Carol Williams. The umbrella grouping for small businesses is once again calling for government to provide an ease in the VAT on online purchases. While the measure has been continually delayed with no implementation date in sight, President of the Small Business Association, Win Punka Willock, is warning it will hurt members when it takes effect. He says this tax, in addition to the foreign exchange fee, is just too much.
The VAT online would bring in some serious challenges for people who have to purchase stuff overseas. But from my understanding, there are several challenges in the implementation of the online VAT. So as much as there's talk about it, I've attended quite a few sessions in relation to that. And there are some serious challenges in relation to how it will be collected, who will be collecting it, how do you ensure that it reaches the coffers of government here. And also the technology involved, because some providers, some suppliers are not really interested in collecting VAT for any other country. So there are some challenges. I'm not sure when it will come online, but whenever it does come online, I can see that we will have some issues, unless, of course, they decide to relax the current fee.
The financial problems facing Liat have reportedly worsened. Sources tell Barbados Today shareholder governments haven't made any financial contribution to the airline over the last few months. The airline has been in urgent need of cash. However, the shareholders were seemingly anticipating a decision in the negotiations between Barbados and Antigua over this country's 49% stake in the airline. Those talks have since broken down. Officials are hoping for a new lifeline for the airline at its annual general meeting next month. The first phase of the Barbados YouthAdvance Corps will be rolled out within days. The initiative, which has a $20 million budget, replaces the Barbados Youth Service. Permanent Secretary of Youth and Community Empowerment, Yolan Howard, released details of the rollout in a statement yesterday. She agrees that the response has been phenomenal.
The first cohort is going to start with exactly 200 persons, and they will be, as I said, housed at the Paragon BDF base in Christchurch for the 6 weeks. And what we will be doing over the course of the next 11 and a half months, is that we will be utilizing various satellite centers, using our community centers and other facilities to be able to expose these persons to the various training programs that I've identified. The second cohort will start on November 10th, and that will end on December 20th. And earlier you heard the minister speak to the fact that we've had several applications. And indeed, we already have about 100 persons already for our second cohort. And we are still accepting applications. We're still receiving calls.
The Permanent Secretary says the 2-year program will offer a mixture of training and work experience.
It is our intention to ensure that as we roll out this program, that we provide courses that do come with a CVQ or an NVQ. Now, during that time, those persons will go through 11 months of training, and we prepare them then for the labor market. We've gone through the employability, life skills training, person development training, and then the technical skills training. And then in the second year, they will move into their work experience programs. And they will then be, with the assistance of our partners in the Ministry of Labor and Social Partnership Relations, be assigned to the Job Starts Plus program. And they will have the opportunity to be involved in job attachments, internships, and apprenticeships. Part of that year also, we will be allowing them to be involved in community service activities, as the minister earlier alluded, and national programs.
Barbadian entertainers are in Dominica for a celebratory concert this evening to mark the 2nd anniversary of Hurricane Maria. The country is celebrating the resilience of its people. Barbadian artists Edwin Yearwood and Nicholas Branca both say they're excited to be in Roseau.
So many lives have been touched or affected in Dominica from the passing of the Hurricane Maria, and to this day they're still struggling. They're still trying to find a means to an end, a means to a continuation, really. And my job is to really come here and just be as supportive and motivating as possible. I owe it to them, you know, as a nation that I've been visiting for so long, for so many years, who's always welcomed me in for so many years as a part of them. You know, it's just that kind of feeling that you have to give back. So I needed to be here for this.
The people of the Caribbean are one. We are here in solidarity with the people of Dominica, rebounding from the hurricane 2 years ago. And we are here to help celebrate the strength and vitality and resilience of the Dominican people. We are all one, together as family.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
In the region, Haiti's capital is again at a standstill as violent protests continue over fuel shortage and a corruption scandal. The president is also facing renewed calls to resign. We get more from Al Jazeera.
Anger on the streets of Haiti's capital. Already struggling with a weak economy, these protesters are calling for an end to high fuel prices and shortages. During violent clashes with demonstrators, police are accused of shooting and killing a man amid protests in Port-au-Prince. Close by, one of his relatives is overwhelmed with grief. Days of protest have left the Caribbean nation at a standstill. Roads have been blocked, and some schools, banks, and government offices have closed their doors.
Our conditions are inhumane here in Haiti. The situation cannot continue.
Fuel suppliers say Haiti's government owes them about $100 million. They have refused to make deliveries until the debt is paid. And a corruption scandal has made things worse. Auditors say the government embezzled about $2 billion from a fund linked to a subsidized oil program for Caribbean nations. That money was meant to improve infrastructure, education, and health services.
And finally, on the international scene, India has become the latest country after Brazil and Thailand to ban the sale of e-cigarettes. India has 106 million smokers, second only to China. In the U.S., congressional Democrats yesterday threatened to subpoena an e-cigarette maker. We get more from Reuters TV.
Congressional Democrats on Wednesday threatened to subpoena e-cigarette maker Juul if the company does not cooperate with a House panel investigating whether it deliberately targeted children. The committee chairman says Juul has not yet complied with a request for documents relating to its product and marketing practices, including Juul's relationship with schools. If the documents aren't produced by October 1st, a subpoena may be in order. That threat comes on the same day that India banned the sale of e-cigarettes. The ban does not forbid people to smoke them, but covers the production, import, and advertising of e-cigarettes. It's potentially the biggest move globally against vaping over growing health concerns, especially among young people. In the United States, vaping companies are under intense scrutiny after several deaths and possibly hundreds of illnesses tied to e-cigarette use have been reported. In response, the state of Michigan and New York have banned flavored e-cigarettes.
Vaping is dangerous. Period.
In a Tuesday statement, Governor Andrew Cuomo said, quote, New York is not waiting for the federal government to act.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. And sign up for breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as Crinplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Carol Williams. Have a good day.